16%. In the United States, women make up only 16% of the workforce within the forest industry. Women are underrepresented and have historically been excluded from careers within forestry. We need to be making better gains on this statistic by supporting and growing women who strive to have a career in the forestry community. When I started at Oregon State University in 1999, I never once thought what it meant to be a woman in forestry. I was just excited to be taking those first steps towards a career in the industry in which I grew up in. Being a logger's daughter, I felt welcomed, comfortable, and empowered throughout my time at the College of Forestry and as I entered into the workforce. Today, I come before you a 20-year industry veteran. I have held the titles of forest engineer, harvest manager, and area manager, but to me, the most meaningful titles will always be logger's daughter, neighbor, mentor, and volunteer, as those are the titles I've held when I've made the most connections and impacted others. I find being able to connect with people on a personal level to be deeply rewarding, be it other people within the industry or neighbors to areas I've had operations. I thrive when I'm able to be part of the communities where I have the privilege of working. It is my opinion that one of the greatest ways women add value to forestry is through our ability to connect with others and to personalize forestry operations. Most of my career, I have worked on land for my employer that is checkerboarded with lots of small private landowners. I have literally had operations in people's backyards, giving me lots of experience connecting with neighbors. When I meet with neighbors for the first time, I always go into those meetings a little nervous because I know people have misconceptions about forestry operations. I have found, though, that if I spend the time to meet with neighbors, hear their concerns, and commit to addressing them, always leads to a win-win. I cannot tell you how many hours I have spent literally walking every square inch of people's property with them, to sitting at their dining room table together, looking at maps and having coffee. Well, I may never change their view of my operation or active forest management in general, but by allowing them to be heard and informed creates trust. The result is me being able to fully explain my operation, why the activity is occurring, and the precautions that I'm taking around safety and environmental impacts. At the end of some of my operations, I have developed lifelong friendships with neighbors. I have received numerous hugs and regular invitations for fresh baked treats. I even commissioned one neighbor to paint a logging mural on a large circular saw blade that came from my husband's family sawmill. To me, these interactions have promoted change in perceptions of forest operations. When you humanize your operation and its benefit to the forest, you gain understanding. I believe that women are more self-aware than men and are able to connect with neighbors and to personalize forestry to find common ground. My work through Oregon Women in Timber, also known as OWIT, is another way I engage in forestry education and outreach. While the name OWIT's a bit deceiving, the group was not actually founded by women who work in the forest. However, today we find many of our members to be industry professionals, which facilitates supporting and networking with other women. It is truly rare to find an all-female-based forestry organization that allows us to engage in public education while networking. I love being able to support other women, regardless if they're just beginning their career or if they're a seasoned veteran, knowing the issues we face are not the same as our male counterparts. It can be as simple as encouraging someone to apply for that job when they question their qualifications, to having a candid conversation about where do you find cork boots and personal protective equipment that fit the female frame. I cherish these connections I've made through OWIT and the lasting friendships. Circling back to my career and the work that I do today, there are many things that excite me for the future, such as advancements in technology that improve the ways we go to work, exciting job opportunities for people just starting their career, and a push to recognize the importance of our skilled workforce, such as equipment operators, truck drivers, and mechanics. I am equally as excited by the number of women who are entering into the forestry community, either foresters, small woodland owners or equipment operators. In my 20 years in the forest industry, I have learned a few things that stand out to me about the value that women add to forest management and operations. First, our approach tends to be collaborative. We seek to find common ground and common solutions. We only operate with a top-down, fear-based approach if necessary or needed. Second, women equipment operators tend to be easier on equipment and more likely to ask for a second opinion, resulting in less breakdowns and errors. You know what? We're also not afraid to stop and ask for directions either. Lastly, women break up the groupthink decision-making of what used to be an all-male dominated industry and challenge the status quo. Over the course of my career, I have impacted the communities where I've worked through having positive neighbor interactions. Oregon Women in Timber has provided me with an opportunity to network and support other women. I am excited for the opportunities that lie ahead for people just starting their careers, and I feel empowered by the recognition of the contributions being made by women. Women add value to all aspects of forest operations and find new perspectives to accomplishing objectives. I feel truly privileged to work for an employer who supports their female employees in historically male-dominated roles. Today, as we plant the seeds that will be our future forests, so too do we plant the seeds of change for the future of women in forestry. While you may not personally know a future female forester, I guarantee that you know a woman who desires a career in a non-traditional role. I want to challenge each of you to be supportive and intentionally support those women in your lives. Madam Toastmaster.